Koi-san real quick. What's goody team? Welcome to this week's weekly market breakdown. Just gonna give everybody another 4 minutes to join. We'll start at 6:35. For the new people in here, if you guys are new to the channel, the pairs we're gonna go over are the ones with the red flag next to their name. We'll go in order from the top to the bottom, starting off with AUDUSD, finishing off with US oil. But if you guys have any questions about any other pairs, whether or not they're on our list, just let me know and we'll do those at the end of the stream. We'll give everybody till 6:35 to join up and then we'll get started. Hope everyone has had a great weekend. I know it's late for a lot of the people in our group, so I'm sorry about that. I know it's 6 hour, 7 hour differences and it's already 6 p.m. here, so we'll try to do this session as quick as possible. We'll talk about the pairs that need to be talked about. For the ones that are not really doing anything for us, we'll just update it if we need to and we'll skip right through it. So session shouldn't be longer than 45 minutes to an hour. We'll update the daily time frame, daily highs, daily lows, see if there's any continuations. I'll go to the 4 hour, do the same thing, 4 hour highs, 4 hour lows, look at structure, see if there's any continuations, and then the same thing on the 30-minute highs, 30-minute lows, and we'll look for any continuations that we could trade going into the new week. What's good, Mr. Albert? Welcome, welcome. How are you, my brother? I hope the explanation in the Discord made sense, man. That's a good question also to post in the chat, because I'm sure that some other people had questions about the lot sizes and how they're different from when you trade US30 compared to a regular Forex pair. But to recap on the question, he was asking, I took a trade on US30 with a 15 cent lot size, right? The conversion of that into a regular Forex pair is $1.50. I'm doing well, bro. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing good, my brother. I can't complain. We're alive, man. It's a blessing. Booty butt. What's good, Kendall? Again, just gonna give everybody another minute. 6:35, we'll get started. Any questions, let me know. Any pairs in specific you guys want me to go over, let me know. If you guys need me to slow down, if you guys need me to speed up, if you guys need me to explain something, let me know. This is what we're here for. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Every question is a good every question is a good question. I was about to say it opposite. Every answer is a good answer. No, that's not right. Not every answer is a good answer. Don't believe that. Every question, however, is a good question. There is no such thing as a bad question. Man, it's so cold in my house right now. The water bottles that I have in my room are cold as hell. No questions before we get started. 15 seconds, 20 seconds. We'll give you guys another minute. Any questions before we get started, let me know. No questions in the chat. Alright, we'll get started. So let's start off with the first pair on the list, AU. Daily time frame. Where are we? Right? What are we doing? We know that we're in an overall downtrend. Right? We had the first push, first zone of consolidation where price is moving sideways. Second push, second zone of consolidation where price is just moving sideways. Right? And then we finally had the break that gave us the lower low. So again, just looking at structure, we know we're trading lower low, lower high, lower low. Price gave us an equal high, right? Then price consolidated, and then down here gave us the break of structure. We have a lower low. So all we're looking for is a pullback. We're looking for a lower high point to be set, to then start taking those trades from the lower high to go back down to make the lower low into the previous peak low, which is down here, right? So our 2 points of interest as to where we're expecting price to give us a pullback to. The first point of interest is the 800 EMA, which we're almost at. Our second point of interest is this gap that we have at the top of the market. So I'm either expecting price to do something like this, or I'm expecting price to do something like this to then do this, right? And right now in the daily time frame, if we just zoom in and look at structure, what are we doing? Higher high, higher low, higher high. So we're still looking. Price is still going down. It's giving us a pullback from a higher high going into a higher low. So this is already giving me one confirmation, which is what? Be careful with taking trades down here going short, because we are still making higher high, higher low. Let me see. Let me do this with the path tool so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. Right? And we'll go down. We'll leave the drawing here on the daily, but then we'll go down into the 4 hour and the 30 minutes so you guys can see how structure lines up. Right? Higher high, higher low. Right? So right now on the daily time frame, there's really no confirmations, nothing here to talk about. On the 4 hour time frame, let's go ahead and delete these brushes, right? We don't need that on our screen. On the 4 hour, what's the structure on the 4 hour? Again, everything is color coordinated. The daily highs and low are the gray boxes. The 4 hour highs and lows are the blue boxes. The 30-minute highs and low are going to be the red boxes. Some pairs have them, some pairs do. This one does have it. Sometimes I get lazy and I don't want to add the boxes. I'll just, This is visually for you guys. On a regular chart, I usually trade naked charts. But again, visually, this is for you guys, right? So on the 4 hour time frame, what are we trading? Higher high, higher low, higher high. Price came up, gave us an inducement of the high, did not give us a break, so we're still trading between this higher high. So we could update our 4 hour high now. We know we're trading over here. This is our 4-hour high. And all we're looking at is price going from higher high into a higher low. So we want to be careful with that. Then on the 30-minute time frame, right, no continuations, we have a weaker drop. 30-minute time frame, let's turn on our session breaks. Same thing, right? Structure is a little bit different on the 30 because you're looking at the inside candles. So we know that on the 30-minute we had higher high, higher low, higher high, then price came down, gave us a little lower low change of character, right? Then price came up, gave us another, just a little change of character, inducement of the high, and then price came back down and gave us another change of character, inducement of the low. So we want to be careful with that. If price, let's say price comes down and gives us a break, then I'll be expecting price to go a little bit lower into the 4-hour lows. But I'm not expecting that to happen. So, just going to be careful with AU. I'm still not going to be trading AU. We're going to wait for price. I'll delete the brushes. We'll keep the path tool here, just so we can see it tomorrow as well during the live session in the morning. We have a day of rise, no continuations. AU, I'm going to take a step back from trading. I'm going to wait for price to develop. Again, I'm still expecting price to give us those pushes back to the top side. So we'll wait for that to happen. Once we get that lower high point set, again, that's when I'll start trading. So AU, we're just keeping an eye on structure, waiting to see what price wants to do. If it decides to not want to give us a pullback up to the 800 or up to the gap and it starts making the downtrend push, then cool. We still have to wait for that 4-hour low to break. Right? So let me explain that once again. In order for me to start looking for price to go back down, in order for me to look for trades, again going short on AU, I need to see price break the 4-hour low. If price doesn't break these lows, gives us an inducement, we know it'll go back up. Right? So regardless, I'm still on pause with AU. I'm not taking trades on AU just yet. AUDCAD, we're in A1, first zone of consolidation, looking for the second push back down to the bottom. We're still in an overall downtrend. We're just stuck in the zone of consolidation. No break of the lows, just inducements of the lows, and we can see that again here. Notice we never had a clean break. All of the candles were still touching the break of structure line. All of these candles are still testing candles, inducement candles. We're still stuck in this zone of consolidation. Right, so what I'm looking for here, just understanding that we're at the bottom of the zone of consolidation. This is not the best place to look for a trade going short. So the only confirmation entries that I'm looking for on AUDCAD are going to be continuations. Whether that's 2 months of drop, 2 weeks of drop, or 2 days of drop going into the third day. That's the only time I'll be looking for entries on AUDCAD. Or if price gives us a change of character, break of structure, once we get the break, that's when I'll start taking trades. Right, so no continuations on the 4-hour, and on the 30-minute time frame, right, we had 2 days of drop, gave us a third day low, gave us a no net, expected a 4th day push back down to the bottom, gave us that 4th day push as soon as the market opened, so never gave us an opportunity to trade it, and then on Friday gave us a day of rise. Notice, all we have is a change of character. Am I trading this? No. Right, I'm either waiting for a break to happen, so before I take a trade I need to see price break these lows to then continue, or we'll have to see something like this happen where price gives us a high, sweep of the high, and then gives us a continuation, push 1, push 2, push 3. Perfect, that's an easy trade. Right, so that's what we'll be waiting for on AUDCAD, either the break or another continuation. So AUDCAD right now, not really interested in trading it for this upcoming week. But again, we'll keep an eye on it. Euro AUD. We are in level 3 in an uptrend, right? We had the double bottom, push 1, first zone of consolidation, push 2, second zone of consolidation, and we're currently in push number 3. And we're expecting price to reach these highs, which was the previous highs from the previous structure on a downtrend, push 1, push 2, push 3. We're expecting price to go up to these highs. Now, I talked about this before. We've had this marked up, but what I'm going to do here is just build a rectangle. Why? This is a very big wick. Very similar to what happened with USDCAD when price went to the previous peak highs. I'm going to change this to purple since we don't use that color. Since this wick is so large, I'm not going to say that I'm expecting price to reach the tip top of it. All I'm going to be looking at is the body of the candle, and I'll keep the rectangle up just in case. Right, if price decides to give us a few more pips to the top side, which is okay, right, it's clearing this imbalance that we have. Right, at the end of the day, we go down to a lower time frame. I won't be able to do it. I can't go this far back. But if you go down to the 1 minute time frame, 5 minute time frame, and you zoom into this candle, you'll see that there's just a lot of gaps in the market. Right, so what do we know about gaps in the market? Gaps have to be filled. Right, and that's what a wick is. A lot of people call this an imbalance, but what is an imbalance? What is the imbalance made out of? An imbalance is just made out of gaps, and you see this right here. Right, this happened at a slow pace. This gap was built within 2 days. Right, the first day was March 6th, the second day was March 9th. This was Friday going into the new week, Monday. Right, crazy wick. Opened with a gap. These are just gap candles. These are imbalances that we know price has to come back down and fill those gaps. That happens all the time. Notice these candles, right? Crazy wicks with a gap. Price has to come back down and fill that up. So it's the same thing here. We just can't see the gaps in the daily time frame because this happened at a very fast pace. This was 1 day. In 1 day, this candle printed 175 pips on AUD. On Euro AUD, right? So again, we know that these imbalances, right, these wicks just are gaps in the market that have to be filled. So this is the area that we're expecting price to go up to at this point, right? So let's just zoom this in. We know we're still uptrending. Cool. We had 4 months where price pushed up. No problem. No continuations on the 4 hour. We're still stuck in this little zone of consolidation that we've been in since last week. We know that we're still trading between this higher low and this higher high. Price came down, gave us a higher low, and then started this little internal uptrend push. Once we got to the higher high, instead of price just giving us a simple higher high, higher low to continue into a higher high, it gave us a zone of consolidation. So it's simple. We're either going to start taking trades when price gives us an inducement of the low to go back to the high, or when price gives us a break of the top of the zone of consolidation to then continue. So I'll either be looking for this trade here to continue, or we'll be looking to take trades anywhere here at the lows once we get a sweep of the lows, the same way that we did on Thursday going into Friday, right? To do something like this, and then continue back up to the top. Get out of the trade here and wait for either the break to happen, or we'll wait for price to go back down. Right, so we'll just have to be patient with EA. There's not much we could do when we're in a zone of consolidation. Unless you want to be trapped, you know, that's a different story, but I'm not here to be trapped in trades. I'm tripping. Wait, this is a 4 hour time frame. Okay, so we have a weaker rise, which is good. And then on the 30-minute, we had 2 days of rise, gave us a very steep pullback, did not give us that 372. And once again, why didn't it give us this 372? Understanding where we're at in the market. We're in a zone of consolidation. And what is a zone of consolidation? Again, a lot of people are just going to tell you, oh, zone of consolidation is where price is moving sideways. Okay, but why? What makes up a zone of consolidation? What is the definition of a zone of consolidation? Again, a zone of consolidation is an area in the market where the market makers are trapping traders. They're inducing traders. They're making them believe they see something to trap them and hunt for their stop losses. That is what hunting stop losses is. That's what it is. This is what it looks like. Right? So everybody who thought that this was going to be a simple higher high, higher low, higher high, oh look, we have a retest at the market open. How many people you think lost cash on Friday? As soon as the market opened, you go on Twitter and you'll see a lot of people lost a lot of money. People were trying to trade golds. People were trying to trade US30. People were trying to trade GU, EU. A whole bunch of people lost money on Friday. If you go on Twitter, you will see that. And it's, again, a lot of these pairs are in zones of consolidation, and if you don't know what a zone of consolidation is, you will try to force a trade that's not really there. So again, we could just delete this. Right now, I'm not interested in EA. Why? We're in a zone of consolidation. We're in the middle of the zone of consolidation. This is where the market makers are trapping traders. I'm not going to be that type of trader. I don't want to be a trader trapped into trades. I'm going to wait for my confirmations. So EA, just taking a step back from it, going on to the next pair. EUROCAD. We are in PCAD territory already, right? We had push number 1, first zone of consolidation, push number 2, second zone of consolidation, and then this push number 3 that gave us the push to the previous peak high. So right now for EUROCAD, this is another pair that I am not currently trading. Not only that, where are we at in the market structure? We're at a higher high. We had higher high, higher low. Price came up, gave us a higher high. Am I going to be taking trades going long at a higher high for price to continue to go higher high, higher high, higher high? Or is price going to go higher high into a higher low? So right now on ECAD, I am expecting a pullback. We had 2 weeks of drop, this week being the 3rd week. Price gave us that 3rd week low. After 3 weeks of drop, the market must move sideways or go up. So we will see. This is pretty close. How long do we have? We still got 2 hours. We might have to change this tomorrow morning when we get back on the charts for the trading session. This is only a 13 pip difference. It could finish on a week of no net. So if it finishes on a no net, where if this candle is touching last week's opening candle, then we'll be expecting another 4th week push back down to the bottom. So we'll just have to wait for that 2 hour, for this 4 hour candle to close in 2 hours. And then on the 30-minute time frame, we're still making lower low, break of structure, lower high, lower low down here. Right, then price was just consolidating here. We're still stuck in that zone of consolidation because of this candle here too. So we'll have to be patient. We have a day of no net on Friday. Price just moved sideways. So we'll be patient with ECAD. We're already in peak high territory. We're sitting at a higher high. Don't have to force any trades there. Take a sip of water real quick. Again, guys, let's take a little break here. Let's give you guys a minute. Any questions, let me know. Trapping traders. Yep, exactly, Albert. Any questions so far? Anything you want me to explain? Anything that's not making any sense, and let me know. And for the people watching the recordings, you guys already know. If you guys have any questions, you can feel free to either leave the question in the comment section, or you can message me on Discord. You could join the Discord and post the question on the in the server in the Discord discussion, or you can message me on X, message me on Instagram. Let me know. Again, we're just gonna take a minute here. So far, so good. Any questions? Let me know. Anything that hasn't made sense so far? Anything you guys want me to explain? Give you guys another 15 seconds here. We'll give you, 15 seconds. Five seconds. Alright, let's get started again. So EU, same thing. Daily time frame, where are we? We had push number 1. We're in an uptrend, right? We had push number 1, level 1. V1, which is the first zone of consolidation. Then we had the break to the top, which is push number 2. So now we know that we're in level 2 in an uptrend, right? Where are we in structure? We're at a higher high, once again. After a higher high, what are we expecting? A higher low. What do we know about EU? We have 2 gaps in the market. We have one at the bottom of the zone of consolidation, right, all the way at the bottom, and we also have one at the previous higher low. What do we know about level 2? In level 2, we're looking for price to bounce off the 200 EMA, which is the white line. The white EMA is a 200 EMA. Just with these 2 confirmations, the gaps, 3 confirmations, the gap, The structure, higher high, higher low. Let's do this with the path tool. Right? So our first confirmation is the gap. The second confirmation is structure. Third confirmation is the EMA. Am I expecting a small pullback if we put a fib here? Am I expecting a 38.2 pullback here, or am I expecting something steeper like a 78 or 88.6? Right? If you're a person that's just trading patterns and you're just trading patterns connected to the fib, you're probably already in this trade. Why? Because this looks like a picture perfect flag post pattern in an uptrend. A flag post pattern. What is that? What is that, Lewis? What's a flag post pattern? A flag post pattern is when price trends straight up, right? You have a bearish and a bullish flag post pattern. And price gives you a small pullback between 23.6 and 38.2 in the fib level, and then gives you the uptrend. So if you're a pattern trader connecting this with the fib, you think that this is the area to take the trade, right? There's gaps in the market. You have the 200 EMA in level 2. I'm 1000% sure we're going to get a steeper pullback, again, anywhere between 78.6 and 88.6, right? And this is where we'll continue this uptrend push. Could almost guarantee you that. And we'll keep these drawings here, guys. Again, I'll keep all of this here for you guys. We could come back to this. So right now, am I trading EU? No. EU is the same thing as ACAD, or was it EA? Where again, the only thing I'm trading on EU is if we get a continuation. If we get 2 weeks of rise, if we get 2 weeks of rise, 2 weeks of whoa, I'm bugging, bro. 2 weeks of rise, 2 months of rise, or 2 days of rise. And we'll take the third push. That's the only way I'll take EU. Or if we get a change of character and a break of structure. Once we get the break, that's when I'll start taking the trade. Let's add a few lines here for the week. Sunday, 5 o'clock. Wait, I'm missing a week here. Sunday, 5 o'clock. No, this looks super spread out. Something's wrong here. There's a line that's not good. $17. Alright, we're good now. That line was out of place. Alright, so this one is Friday. I have to change this to Sunday. We'll add a few lines here so I don't have to do this every week. There you go. And then we have a week of drop, 2 weeks of drop. Perfect. 2 weeks of counter drop. So, am I expecting price to go a little bit lower? Absolutely. We already have 2 weeks of drop. And then on the 30-minute time frame, we're trading lower low, lower high, then price came down and gave us this low over here. So still no trend, no continuation, just gonna wait this one out. We were in a zone of consolidation, we broke, gave the retest, went back down, gave us that push to the bottom, and what is price doing here at these lows? Just moving sideways. This is a little zone of consolidation too. So we gotta wait this one out. So EU taking a step back from EU too. Not really looking at anything for this week. Gonna wait for price to develop a little bit more, and then we'll go from there. This one's a little freaky, right? This one just gave us lower low, lower high, lower low, and then just continued to push to the top side. We're still trading between the change of character. All of this was part of the same structure, the same trend. All right, all of this here, and then price just went whoop all the way to the top side. GA overall, we are in already peak high territory, right? The previous structure, push 1, push 2, push 3, to where we're at now, push 1, push 2, boom, push 3, peak high, right? We're at the higher high. We're still pretty much consolidating at the higher high. So this is another pair. We've been moving sideways for 3 months, right? So GA for me right now, I already know just off the bat, just from that alone, this is not going to be a pair that I'm going to keep an eye on. We have 2 weeks of drop. This week being the third week, gave us that third week low, finished on a rise, right? Since we're still in peak high, we're not going to mark this as a 4th week variation. We had the 800 EMA. We have an engulfing candle here. Price pushed up. So could price go higher from here? Absolutely. It definitely does look like that. But our confirmation that price will continue higher is going to be on the 30-minute time frame. And again, it's going to be after we get the break. All we have is the change of character. The confirmation that the trend has shifted from a downtrend to an uptrend is going to be if price gives us a break, then we'll get in on the retest to then continue. So that's what I'll be looking for on GA. If I don't get this movement, then there's no trades. So GA is another one. We already know for this week, not interested in trading it. Just for the beginning of the week, right? We'll have to wait for price to develop a little bit more. GCAD. Well, what did I do here? What did I choose? EA. Okay, we're in GCAD. GCAD, previous trend, right? Downtrend, push 1, push 2. Price gave us a big zone of consolidation and they gave us push number 3. Where are we right now in the uptrend? We know that we need to reach the previous peak high, which is up here, right? Which is the red line. We have push 1, first zone of consolidation, push 2. Let's zoom in here, right? Push number 2, second zone of consolidation. And now we're looking for push number 3. Price gave us higher high, higher low on the daily time frame, right? Higher high, higher low. Price gave us higher high, higher low. When price came up to these highs, it gave us an inducement of the high. It didn't give us a valid break. This is not a higher high. This is not a break of structure. This is an inducement of the high. We have 2 months arise, this month being the 3rd month. Am I expecting price to go higher? I am not. Why? Again, because price gave us an inducement of the high. I'm not expecting this to be higher high, higher low to continue into a higher high, because this is not a valid higher high, right? And right now we still have 11 days left for the month. Could price push up? Absolutely, right? But again, what are we going to have to wait for? We have to wait for the 30-minute to give us the change of character. After it gives us the change of character, it needs to give us the break of structure. If it doesn't give us a break, then I am not looking for that continuation. We have 3 weeks of drop. After 3 weeks of drop, we already know this week price is either going to move sideways or is going to push up. So we are going to keep an eye on GCAD. But again, we have to wait for our confirmations. And right now, looking at GCAD, we have lower low, lower high, lower low. Then price pushed up and never gave us a pullback. It gave us a change of character. And we're trading between this 30-minute high and this 30-minute low. So what does this tell me? Well, I already know in order for me to look for a trade to the top side, it's not going to be a break. The only way I'll take a trade on GCAD is if price gives us an inducement of the low and then starts making higher highs and higher lows to then continue, or we'll be looking for a continuation. Again, whether that's 2 days of rise going into a 3rd day or 2 weeks going into a 3rd week. But at this point, the only continuation pattern that would make sense to go back up to these highs would be a 372, which again is 3 days of rise. So we'll keep an eye on GCAD, but I'm not a fan of this one. This one definitely doesn't look like it wants to continue that push to the top side. But we will wait on it. Again, any questions, guys? We're already halfway through. These last couple of pairs go pretty quick because I'm not going over US30, I'm not going over gold, I'm not going over Bitcoin, and I'm not going over US oil on stream. I'm going to update them, but I'm not going to talk about them the way I've been talking about these. I'm just going to update them since I trade them, but those are pairs that I do not go over in the stream. But any questions so far, let me know. Again, we'll take another minute break here. Any questions, let me know. "30 seconds. Any questions? Anything that's not making sense, let me know." "10 seconds. Alright. No questions in the chat. Let's keep going. GJ Ligma. Hey man. You Ligma. GJ, we're still in peak high territory. We're in the highest point in the market. Right? We're still in an uptrend. Right? Daily time frame, we're still trading higher high, higher low, higher high. 4-hour time frame gave us a little change of character back to the top side, right? If we turn the session breaks off real quick, right, we know that we're still trading between this higher high and this low down here. And where are we? If we zoom in, did price give us a valid break of these highs? No. It did the same thing as GCAD. It gave us inducements of the highs, right? Sweep of the highs. And price opened with a fat gap on GJ, gave us a no net for the week, right? Just moving sideways at these highs as well. We go down to a lower time frame, right? On the 30-minute time frame, we're just stuck in a zone of consolidation. And these were some notes that I took while I was away in Miami for you guys, so we could talk about them on stream. Let's just go ahead and add this as a day of drop. There's just so much on my screen, so let's just talk about this real quick. So a lot of people were confused about GJ and why it didn't continue to go lower. Like, a lot of people were really confused about GJ. If you notice structure, if you just look at the candlesticks, right? This entire time, price was making lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, right? From the top of the zone of consolidation back down to the bottom the entire time. Price gave us a sweep of the lows, and then what did it start doing, right? It started giving us higher lows and went back to the highs. When price came back down, what did price do? Comparing it to the last lower low that was created, what did it do? Higher low. Swept the lows, came back down, closed above, gave you an engulfing candle, but was never tapped into, right? You had the EMA crosses, so you had no trades here. It's too early, right? Market just open, whatever. Let's say you wanted to catch a continuation. Thursday, going into London and New York session, going into the next session, right? The next day, which was Friday. You had an hour engulfing candle that was printed here. You had the retest, then the continuation back to the top of the 4-hour highs, right? So GJ did give nice confirmation. It gave beautiful entries, right? It's just waiting for that market to shift, right? And understanding why price didn't continue these pushes lower in this area. It's just we're stuck in a zone of consolidation. That's it. Like, you should be out of the trade already. If you took the trade from the top of the zone of consolidation back down to the bottom, that's it. Get out. What else are you trying to catch? Same thing, if you catch a trade going long, if you took any of these trades, what's your target? Your target is the top of the zone of consolidation. That's it. Once you reach this area, get out of the trade. Why? Because look, if anybody was holding this trade, and I know a few traders who actually were holding this trade, I'm not going to say no names, but I'm pretty sure they're crying right now. A lot of people were holding this trade, and what happened as soon as the market opened? This is why I don't hold trades over the weekend, because I know better. This is something that happens 8 out of 10 times. The market just opened and ADR's already hit. STP's already hit for the day. So this is not even a trade that I'm going to be looking at for tomorrow. 117 pips. The market just opened and it gave you 117 pips down to your stop loss because you wanted to hold a trade during the weekend and you wanted to hold a trade at the top of the zone of consolidation at the top of a higher high. This is why understanding market structure and candlestick analysis, this is so important. Like, trading isn't just here, an order block. Like, that doesn't make any sense. If you're not connecting it to market structure, you're just gambling. You're taking 50-50 trades. Because 50% of the time you're going to win and 50% of the time you're going to lose. That's gambling. If you don't know market structure, you're gambling on the charts. It's just, that's how simple this is. You need to understand market structure. It doesn't get more simple than that. Again, in the beginning is not simple, absolutely. The same way that doing surgery is not simple. To you is not simple, but to a surgeon that's been doing it for 20 years, it might be the most simplest thing on earth. Why? Because he studied it. He knows what he's doing. How many times has he done it before? Hundreds of times. Hundreds of times. Thousands of times. How many hours does he have? Like, it's a different game, guys. So understanding market structure is very, 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 very important. And I hope he didn't blow his account either. It was a funded account too, so we'll see tomorrow when he messages me. So GJ, I already know I'm not even trading for tomorrow, so we could turn that off already. GJ already gave us STP for the day. We're already 40 minutes in, guys. We're gonna start speeding this up a little bit. It's the same thing, guys. Every single pair is the same thing, right? So GU is pretty similar to EU. V1 first zone of consolidation. We had the break, higher high, higher low, gave us a higher high. We're trading at a higher high. No continuations on the daily time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we're trading higher high, higher low, higher high. Price came down, gave us an inducement of the low, right? So now that we have the inducement of the low, this is where we go to the 30-minute and we'll start looking for a change of character, break of structure back to the top side. We have 3 weeks of drop. After 3 weeks of drop, the market must move sideways or go up. And if you notice, the market is already moving sideways. It's been moving sideways since Wednesday. Right? So before I take a trade, what do I need to see? A change of character. After the change of character, I need to see the break. So again, before I take a trade on GU, I need to see price break. I need to see price break these highs over here. I need to see the break of structure. Once we get the break, we'll get the retest to then continue. Is the only way I'll take a trade on GU. So we'll keep an eye on it. If we don't get that break, then we know that we'll get price to continue back down, and that's okay. For NZD USD, let's just take a look. This is not a pair that I really even trade. We're still in a downtrend. We're trading between this lower low and this lower high. We're still stuck in the zone of consolidation. We're at the bottom of the zone of consolidation. So we already know not the best place to look for a trade. On the 4-hour, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Price came down, gave us a higher low. So we're still counter trending. Still making higher highs and higher lows on NZD USD. So we need to see that break below. We have 2 weeks of drop, which is good, but we're at the bottom of the zone of consolidation. So this, and we're on the 800 EMA. This third push to the bottom is very low probability. Third week low, but we will keep an eye on it. And then on the 30-minute, what I like about it is that we have a little inducement of the high, right? The change of character. Let's look at internal structure too. On the 5-minute, we're trading lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, change of character, higher high, higher low, break of structure, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then price on the 5-minute gave us a change of character here. So we could keep an eye on NZD USD for that third push. If we get a valid break of the 5-minute, that's where we'll start looking. But this is going to be a little bit too early to tell just from the beginning of the week candle, 5-minute change. So we'll keep an eye on NZD USD for this week to go lower. If we get those confirmations, then perfect, right? Even on the 30-minute, we want to see the 50 cross below the 200. Right now we're above it, so we'll wait it out. Again, US30, I'm just going to mark it up, but I'm not going to speak about it. We'll speak about it in the trading session in the morning. But in the breakdowns, I am not going to do the full break. Any questions, guys, so far? Let me know. Alright, USD CAD. We are still in an uptrend, right? We've already reached the previous peak high, right? So we just got to be patient with this one, right? A lot of people are already getting ahead of themselves, like, oh, this is gonna be peak high. We have a shoulder head shoulder, inverse shoulder head shoulder. We have the break, we have the push. 50 is crossing below the 200. We're on the 800 EMA. You know, a lot of people are already saying that this is push number one, and this is where the first zone of consolidation is gonna be, right? But looking at structure again, what are we trading? Higher high, higher low, higher high, right? So could this be a higher low to continue into a higher high to continue a push back to the top side? Of course, 100%, right? We're still in an uptrend. We just got to be patient with this, right? Just wait for a little bit. And we've seen it before, right? What, like the other pairs that faked us out before, right? GJ did it a couple of, I think it was like last year or the beginning of 2024 maybe, where it looked like we were in peak high and price wanted to start downtrending and then it went right back to the top side. It happened with US30, right? So we need to wait for the price to shift. If price doesn't shift, then there's nothing here for us. We just gotta wait it out. Right? The good thing is that lower time frames, higher time frames, we're still downtrending, right? We had a 4-hour change and break, and we're trading at that lower low, still in the lower high. And price right now has just been moving sideways for the last couple weeks, right? Just stuck in this area, right? So we just gotta be patient. Wait for the continuations. We have a weaker rise last week. This week, price we're super close. What do we have? An hour 45. I don't think we'll come back down. We're 4 pips, but 2 weeks of rise, right? But again, understanding that 2 weeks of rise, but again, we're still trading between lower low, lower high. This is very low probability. A low probability trade. A very, very low probability trade. So again, I would just have to wait it out. Again, we'll update this tomorrow too in the isolation session. USDZAR still at the bottom of the zone of consolidation in V2. We're looking for that third push to the top side. Still the same thing as USDCAD, same structure, lower low, lower high, lower low. Right? I can't be looking for uptrends when we're still stuck in a lower low, lower high. It just doesn't make any sense. No continuations. We have a weaker drop, and then on the 30-minute, we have higher high, higher low, higher high, and then price came down and gave us a change of character, lower low. Right? We were stuck in a zone of consolidation. Price consolidated and gave us a break of the zone of consolidation as well. So could we go lower? Absolutely. Absolutely. So we will be patient with USDZAR. And then gold, Bitcoin, and oil again, doing the same thing as US30. We're pretty much done for the day. Any questions, let me know. Anything you guys want me to explain, let me know. It's going to be a crazy week on gold. Hope a lot of people put their seatbelts on, man. Be patient. That's all I got to say. Then the market doesn't open or it doesn't close for another 40 minutes. So we'll wait this one out. We'll update this tomorrow. We're pretty much stuck in a 30-minute zone of consolidation too, where price is just moving sideways. So we'll wait this one out too. Looking good though. Then the last pair, US oil. Lower low, lower high, lower low, change of character, higher high, and we're trading between this 30-minute high and that 30-minute low. We had a day rise on Thursday. Friday finished as a drop. It went down on Friday. No continuations. We had 2 weeks of rise. This week being the third week, gave us a third week push, but finished on a drop. And then daily time frame, we know that we were in A1, first zone of consolidation and a downtrend. Gave us the break, lower low, pushed up, gave us a lower high. Right, so now we're just looking for those continuations back down to the bottom. Again, level 2, we're looking for price bounce off the 200. Notice how we're bouncing off the 200. We have exhaustion candles at the highs. So US oil is definitely one that I'm going to keep an eye on for this week. But I would love to see continuations, man. That's the only thing that's missing on oil. But we'll see. Alright guys, that's pretty much it for this week. Not too much on our watch list, but we have a good amount of pairs to keep an eye on. See how this week just unfolds. As of right now, we just got to be patient with that. Just wait for price to move, do what it has to do. Recalibrate, right? It's the beginning of the week. The market's just open. Let price recalibrate, guys. Let price do what it has to do today. And then we'll be back again. We still got Tuesday. We still got Wednesday. We still got Thursday. We still got Friday, man. And we still got every week of the year. We have time. We have a lot of time. Any questions before we finish and we wrap it up, guys? That's pretty much it again, like I said. Appreciate the ones who are in here. Again, for the ones watching the recording, if you have any questions, feel free to message me or leave the question in the comment section. Any questions on the live stream chat right now? Again, gonna give you guys, what time is it? 7:20 with 35 seconds. We'll give you guys till 21 and 15 seconds. A few seconds here. What questions? No questions? Let me know. Great session. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. I try very hard. And I hope you guys like the new thumbnail, man. I think it came out pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. I think it came out dope. Alright, guys. That's it for me today. We'll be back tomorrow morning. For the live trading session, again, we'll be live at 7 a.m. We'll do the same thing, man. We'll wake up, look at our charts. If there's something to trade, perfect. If there's nothing left for us, then perfect too. We'll be back, the next trading session. So once again, the streams here on YouTube will be live, obviously today for the weekly market breakdown. We do this every week. We'll be back Monday morning for the live trading session, then Monday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern for the isolation session to get ready for Tuesday. Then we'll be back on YouTube again Tuesday morning, and then Tuesday evening we'll be on WAP for our members, right? So then Wednesday we'll be on WAP as well, both sessions. Thursday morning session will be on WAP. Thursday evening is back on YouTube, and then Friday morning is back on YouTube. And then again, that Friday morning session is the final session of the week until Sunday when we're back doing what we just did today for the weekly market breakdown. Your efforts don't go unnoticed. Thank you, Kendall. I appreciate you, man. For real, for real. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alright, guys. Have a good rest of your weekend. For those who still have a few hours left of freedom. For those who is 1 a.m., 2 a.m., we'll see you guys in the morning, man. We'll see you in a few hours. Peace out, guys.